Today, I'm excited to welcome Split the Dealer to Totally Music to chat about his musical career. Split the Dealer, welcome to Totally Music. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. My name's Sam, and yeah, I'm released music as Split the Dealer.
Yes, good to have you on. So, can you tell us about your journey in music? How did it first start?
Yeah, so I mean, it started kind of late. I was about 15 when I first started like singing, writing songs and that. Before then, as a kid, I was always like had these little like shoe boxes, and I was making little drum kits out of them. And yeah, I think I got my first proper guitar when I was like 15. Started writing songs. It was like a little £30 one from the car boot sale, whatever, all out of tune, and I just did not put it down. I just kept writing it. And then my cousin got married, so I wanted to like write a song for them,
Oh,
which we won't hear ever. It's somewhere buried deep. It's so bad, but yeah, it was out there somewhere, and then that kind of like inspired me to start writing music and kept going from there.
nice. So, for anyone who hasn't heard your music, how would you describe it?
It sounds a bit cliche, but authentic. When starting like Split the Dealer, I wanted to kind of, before I was writing loads of like breakup songs and all these stuff. Me and my girlfriend have been together forever, like 14 years, since we were young. And I was writing these breakup songs because that's what I thought everyone wanted to hear, like singer-songwriter stuff. And none of it really felt like me. I was just writing it for the sake of writing music. So when starting Split the Dealer, I kind of wanted to write about topics or conversations or things that I felt were important or needed to be spoken about. And so yeah, just been doing that.
Nice. So, what was the first song you ever wrote, and how does it compare to your work today?
Well, there we go. The first song I ever wrote was for my cousin's wedding, and it is Night and Day. It was a little acoustic thing with about three chords in it, and it was bad. Um, but yeah, so I started doing that, and then over the years wanted to really do like work on some of the stuff. I listened to like a lot of like grime, hip hop, rock, metal, and I was like, that's what hyped me up a lot. And then I was playing this like slow acoustic stuff, and I was like, it wasn't for me. So I wanted to kind of do a bit more of my influence in it. So especially the rock stuff is kind of where I want to go down. And so eventually, I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna go rock route, and did it.
Nice. So, you recently released your new EP. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah. So the EP is like a collection of songs that have been I was writing over the past few years. Me and the boys have been working on them in the container, like going to see Jim at the studio and working on them there. And we kind of got out of we're working with some management, a label, and afterwards we kind of wanted to put some songs out there as a body of work, kind of like not an end of an era, but like we had all these songs floating around. I wanted to kind of put like 4 or 5 tracks out, get it as a body of work, and then we can kind of start working on the new stuff. And we've got some demos that I'm really really happy with at the moment. But it's all about really. There's a lot of tough times I think a lot of people went through. Um, but it's kind of like they called it the precipice of a broken mind, and it's all about feeling like hanging on, and you're like, especially Free Falling was a lot about music originally, where it's like really holding on for like dear life as everything's hitting you left and right, and you're like, I'm not sure am I going to fall, but if you drop, then you're going to be free falling, and it's all lost and confusion. So the whole EP is kind of written about those kind of topics.
Sounds good. So, what's your favourite song from the EP and why?
Do you know there's two? So Free Fall I really like because it's got that big moment. There's a bit at the end where it's like a big kind of sing along crowd moment. And then Venomous is another one. That's a favorite of mine because it's just kind of got that kind of like I want to see it in like a villain film, or like a DC or like a Marvel. I feel like it's got that big explosiveness that I really want to see. But I think it feels quite powerful, so I quite like that one.
Yes. So, what's been your favourite musical memory and why?
Favorite musical memory and why? Do you know what? I think just touring with the boys recently. We've had some great stuff like recording songs and doing that, but I think playing three different venues, traveling around with the boys in the van, having a good time, and just kind of living that life for a few days was really nice. And I think it's given us a lot of hunger to get to do bigger shows, like jump on tour supports with other bigger bands that we can go around playing like 2,000 cap venues every night and just like putting our music out there. Yeah, that's definitely got it.
Yes. So, what's been your favourite gig to date and why?
Favorite gigs. So I think the first Sub 89 show we did at Hometown Show in Reading. Um, it was it's always a rough one. I booked a venue that I was like, we should not, no way in the world be playing. It's like 400 cap, and I was like, there's no way in the world we should be doing this. But I booked it a year in advance, and that kind of gave me the drive to do all these little bits and bobs to build it and push and push and push. And about maybe 4 or 5 weeks before the show, we had 50 tickets sold, and I was like, oh no, I've made a mistake. But then I think it seems to be just the way tickets go nowadays. The last 2 weeks, people just go, oh, yeah, I need to buy a ticket, blah, blah, blah. And we ended up with about 300, 350 people in the venue. And we weren't expecting that. We thought this shouldn't be happening. And we looked around for the first time, like, wow, like it's a kind of sea of people in a hometown show, and people are singing along and dancing. And it was like, this is our first proper gig. So I think that one was definitely the best one because it kind of set the standard of what we want to keep going with now. So yeah, by far, I think Sub 89 in 2022, I think it was.
I love it. So what do you hope listeners take away from your music, and are there any specific messages or themes that you want to highlight?
Um, yeah, it depends. There's a lot really. I want to kind of put some positivity. I think there's a lot of like negativity going on,
Yeah.
and I want it to kind of be a bit of an escape, especially the live shows. I want it to be like you can come there for a couple of hours and just enjoy some music. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone like jumping around and just let yourself go. Like I know before when I go see shows, I'd be a bit like, oh, like I stand in the crowd and love it and stuff, but I wouldn't. I'd feel like silly. I'd feel a bit stupid, like kind of getting involved. And then weirdly, when I'm on stage, complete opposite. And I know there's a lot of people out there that would feel that way. So I want to kind of like jump in the crowd and get the people that maybe want to get involved a bit, but maybe are holding back. I want to give them the opportunity to be like, I'm doing it, and I look stupid. If
Yeah.
so jump involved, have a good time, and you might regret not doing that. So let's just have a good night.
Nice. So finally, what's next for you?
So next, we've taken a bit of time off the tour, and we've got some singles ready to go. I think I want to kind of focus single to single, building up like a real campaign around each one, and building a story and a visual story, and also ideally I want to get an agent, so we can start doing loads of bigger shows and just really start jumping on the festival scene and getting all that going. But yeah, pushing the live shows, getting some new music, and finding out how to do any more TikTok content because it's a bit of a nightmare for an artist if you're got to think about that, but it's got to be done.
Cool. I'm looking forward to following your journey.
Thank you. Cheers.
So a massive thank you to Split the Dealer for joining me on Totally Music. If anyone would like to check out his music, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for having me on.